Hey, what's up? I'm Adam if you're new, and if you're returning, then you know what's good. I saw this really cool trend going on where people were kind of reviewing their Q1 and their plans for Q2 now that it's April, it's spring, the weather's changing, and we're going into a new kind of phase of the year. And I thought it was a really good idea. So I'm going to break it down into kind of categories that kind of make sense in my head, and kind of how I did my initial planning at the beginning of the year or before we enter 2022. Okay, so first is health and fitness. So I'd say I started Q1 kind of rocky because I actually had not quite an injury, but overuse of certain joints. And so I couldn't really power lift like I had been before because I didn't rest enough before. My body said that time old thing, if you're not gonna rest, I'm going to force you to rest. And so that was kind of not the smoothest start to the year, but it definitely wasn't terrible. Like I was still working out and stuff, but maybe just not to the intensity I wanted. So that was that. However, I did kind of get it back on track quite quickly, and I've been powerlifting, kind of getting back into my usual weights. Also added one pull-up to my pull-up set, which I think I'm on 6 or 7. I'm not quite sure, but obviously on certain kind of videos so you guys can see what's going on there. I didn't do all that great when it came to kind of diversifying my fitness routine. Like I didn't join a dance group or dance class, which I said I would do. But I have joined boxing, and I've done boxing for the last 2 Saturdays in a row. Wow, I forgot how exhausting boxing was. It's fantastic for cardio, keeping me engaged. And so that's kind of like the fitness side, but in terms of like health and in terms of like diet, I've been pretty good, I would say. I've been maintaining a high protein diet. I actually gave up sugar for Lent, which is really good because it means that I'm not taking vast amounts of refined sugar and things like cakes, sweets, chocolate. Even crisps. You know how many crisps have like added sugar to it? It's crazy. But you start to again realize that, wow, it's pretty much everywhere. And so no wonder our sugar content is so high, or our daily sugar intake is so high. So it's been swings and roundabouts. Some good things, mainly good things actually, but some places that there's definitely room to improve. Next, I want to talk about kind of career and finances, and I don't want to go into too much depth here, so I've kind of melded these together, whereas usually they'd really be 2 separate categories. In terms of career, I started a new job. I initially wasn't looking for one, but like good opportunities came to me, and I was like, you know what, maybe it is the season. And so I started a new job with a much higher salary than I was on before, which is great. Great thing about tech, you can kind of jump salary brackets quite quickly, so that's really cool. Enjoying that so far. And in terms of finances though, I won't lie, I was living my best life in Q1 in terms of spending, and I didn't invest or save as much as I usually would, which is cool. Like I said, there's seasons, there's sometimes when you're like, actually I need to invest a bit more in the present now, what I'm doing, than maybe into future me. And because it's a different type of investment, and that's what I'm telling myself, Jamaica is an investment. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand with my finances. Still in a really happy place with my finances, so much better than I was in previous periods of my life, so yes. Next is content creation. How has that been going? I'm really quite proud of myself in some ways, and I know there's room for improvements in others. But I did a lot more vlogs in Q1, like I had my travel vlogs, a few like weekly vlogs, a few like I think a weekend vlog. And so I kind of am showing a little bit more of my life in that sense, and creating content around like daily life or just things that you get on with without it being necessarily a sit down, which has been really, really fun. And I love content creation. I love being able to be creative and share in that sense. So yeah, that's just been great. I also started to do short form content in Q1, mainly reels. I realized short form content is so much harder than long form content in so many ways. Like getting straight to the point really quickly and like capturing people's attention and stuff like that. But it's just been really fun to make them anyway. So you can check that out on my Instagram if you're interested in kind of like my more short form content. But yeah, I'm really, really happy in that sense. I still don't think I'm creating content as much as I could be and making real use of a passion and a skill that I'm trying to develop. So that in mind. So next is the travel category. This is where I feel like I did really well. I did say that I wanted to do more traveling in 2022. And I mean, I started off the year, I think it was January I went to Jamaica. Amazing, loved it, loved Jamaica. Just, I can't wait to go back, and I will be going back really soon, I think. And then I also did my first solo trip in Q1 to Lisbon, Portugal, which was, it was really fun, and it was really interesting to like be on a trip by yourself and, you know, kind of explore a city in a new place by yourself. So yes, Lisbon, Portugal. I don't really have any complaints in terms of the travel section, although I didn't travel as much around the UK, but also it's cold in Q1, so. Next category is social. I think I did quite well. Like, there's been a few birthdays, a few like infrequent meeting with friends for like brunch and dinners and things like that. But definitely still room for improvement, and definitely room for me to be branching out and kind of putting myself out there more, meeting new people. That's something I really want to do because I don't know, I want to connect with more people, and so I think I need to be more active in that sense. But I guess we can talk about that in like Q2 plans. Finally, self-care. This is probably the category that I don't know, part of me feels like I'm lacking in it, but then other times I'm like, I'm actually doing a lot of things that are feeding into me and what makes me feel good, like travel and, you know, cheeky brunch. But I think on the everyday kind of self-care side, I didn't do as well as I'd like to, and that's probably built up some stress in me at times and stuff like that. So yeah. Delicious. Okay, so that was Q1. Moving forward into a new quarter, what is it looking like? What is the plan? You know, what are my goals? Well, let's again start off with the health and fitness category. Okay, so the first thing is I've actually signed with the PT. I had one session last week just to say if I'd liked the way he trained and things like that. Trained me, the kind of style of communication and things like that. And I was happy, so I've signed with the PT and I start my kind of program next week. Well, I'm still doing a lot of my program, obviously from my guide, but when I have those sessions with him, it will be whatever he decides to do in terms of targeting the muscles that I want to target that session. So that's going to be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm pushing myself in a different way. I'm not sure if I want to start competing, or if competing powerlifting wise is something I'll do, but I don't want to take it off the table. Like, I might decide that it is something that I want to go for and try out. I'm going to continue doing boxing because it's a really good way for me to get my cardio in, you know, things like agility, coordination. Oh my gosh, remember, it's basically half dance, because these kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm like it's really good for me and my brain in that sense, and the mind and muscle connect, body connect. So I'm going to continue with boxing. I am going to sign up to a dance class. I actually planned on signing up to a dance class this week, but my DOMS was so bad. I was like, I'm not going to be able to walk to the class, let alone fling my leg up. So like in contemporary style dance and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's just wait. But next week, that will definitely be starting. In terms of diet, I'm really quite happy with where I'm going. I may start incorporating, I think, more red meat into my diet. I think I'm maybe lacking there. And in terms of maybe iron. So that's something. But other than that, even after Lent, I want to continue like with my low or no sugar element to my diet. So career and finances for Q2. So obviously I'm continuing with my job. I'm about 3 weeks in at the moment, and so I just want to keep getting better at what I do, keep refining my skills, building up my skill base, even some certifications. So that's kind of like the career element, and just build more connections, talk to people and learn from people who have been in the industry for like 10 years, 20 years, some of these people. So there's a lot to be learned. Humble pie is good, like be humble enough to know that you don't know everything and that you can learn more always. I want to kind of go back to saving and investing the bulk of my income. I'm going to set it at 50% right now, I think, which is a good way and balance for me to enjoy life and have a healthy amount of saving and investments. So that's kind of like my ballpark in that sense. I also want to spend more time in my business, like, you know, to do with my guides, my coaching, consulting, because it is again something I've loved doing and building up and putting so much energy into. So definitely need to redirect some more energy there. And then finally, I have a project in mind. I don't think I was gonna kind of say anything about it now in case whatever. I need to flesh that out a bit more, but that kind of comes in with spending more time on my own businesses and ventures, I guess. So next is content creation. In terms of this, I just kind of want to do more of the same, if that makes sense. Like, I've started reels, which is really good. Keep doing more of that. I'm gonna aim for maybe like 1 a week at the start. I don't want to set my bar to like 12 and then I'm like, don't do half of one. And then what else? I want to do more posts on my main feed, at least 1 to 2 every week. And then more vlogs. Vlogs are actually a lot harder, like I've said it before, but they're technically very different to other style of videos. So more vlogs, maybe bi-weekly I'm thinking, to start off with and see how that goes. Then obviously if I travel or anything, keep, you know, showing you guys those travel journeys through my vlogs. And yeah, just generally more consistency, I think, is good for content creation. In terms of travel, well, I want to just continue with the momentum I had in Q1. I'm really happy with that. I imagine that I'll be going on at least 1 or 2 European trips and 1 more long haul trip in this quarter. There's so much more to still see and explore, and it's warming up in Europe, which is going to be great. I really think I'll be going to Italy. I really want to go to Italy. I have been before, but it was years ago. I was like 16 or something like that, with school. So yes, I want to do van life in the UK. Like, I want to try it out. So I'm going to do, you can rent vans on, I think it's Quirky Campers I've been looking at. And you can, you know, rent a van for a week or so and explore London, not really London, but explore the UK, England, Wales, Ireland, wherever you kind of want to go. And so that should be really fun and allow me to kind of try it out. Okay, and in terms of social, well, I just need to kind of get myself out there a lot more. And even in places, I think, as simple as talking to people in the gym, like usually people in the gym and stuff are really quite friendly. And so just if somebody comes up to me or like reach out if like I see something not really interesting, something they're doing is interesting to me, or they seem like the type of person that could be cool to have a conversation with, just going for it. And if at the end of it, you don't want to talk to them anymore, that's fine. So just kind of like making more active connections with people. And then also just generally going out more in terms of like brunches, lunches, dinners, activities with my friends, like continuing to make that a part of my life and one of my priorities. And finally, self-care. I think I kind of bringing it back down to simple things like taking time out in the evenings or even before work to do things that are going to enrich me and make me feel more relaxed, or even if it's to do with things like, you know, getting my nails done, which I'm going to do tomorrow. My friend's going to do that for me. So yes, getting as good as doing small self-care acts as I am as large scale self-care acts. But that's it. That's kind of my review of Q1, my ideas for Q2, and I hope that was interesting to you guys. Maybe it's given you some ideas about what you want to achieve in Q2. And yes, I'll see you in the next video.